What's up, everybody? We're back.
Oh,
7 months later, we're here.
Yeah. Took a little bit of a break.
Shooting break, just a life break.
No shooting breaks. Podcast break.
Yeah, podcast break. But we're here again. That's really all that matters.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna basically talk about how outdoor season went, kind of just to get all this stuff out of the way, and then move on into indoor here pretty quick because since we're so late with everything.
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah, maybe next week we'll do another one on indoor shit, and then we'll go from there.
That'll do it. So, you want to start by kind of a little recap of your field nationals? Getting all that stuff started.
That's where we left off. I think the last one we talked with Demmer about field was coming up, and then
your prep for everything, kind of.
Yeah, so I should probably listen to that one or did a once over. I don't know what I talked about too much with that, but
let's just wing it.
That'll work. Yeah. Did I ever decide what bow I was going to use at that point? It was the GMX, wasn't it? Yeah, because it wasn't too far before.
Well, you might as well just speak of it real fast, say what you went into it with, and we'll kind of go back over what you ended up with going into Canada. So
yeah,
just start with that if you remember it.
Yeah, I think it was just the GMX 25 with medium 36s, foams, Axia foams, wound all the way in.
What arrows?
FAPS, 800's fine.
800s? Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think you probably did talk about it, but...
yeah, probably did.
Still using that sniper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always try other stuff, but I end up going back to it.
Speaking of which, too, I want to get in, before we end this one, we'll talk about it here and we'll talk about it later, but I want to talk about that new rest that I've been playing with because I actually really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty sweet.
I haven't seen it firsthand. I just seen your pictures, and it looks cool. I'd like to get my hands on one at some point and play with it for sure. Because... yeah, bounce
I think they're worth it. I mean, for the bounce, it seems fine. It seems like maybe a little bit more forgiving. So, I guess I'll just mention it now so we don't keep everybody on the hook, huh?
Yeah, what's the official name of it?
I think the name of it's Ben's Rest. But Ben Rogers and Tim Strickland kind of built this, and it's like a wire off of the springy. Actually, I can bring up a picture of it real fast. It's like a wire from a springy rest, like the thickest wire, and then has an up and down adjustment and a left and right adjustment. That's super easy.
Is it fixed on that post? Like it comes out of the side, like on the post, and the wire comes around and kind of, comes around.
Yeah, and you can rotate it. You can rotate the wire. Say this is the wire. You can rotate it up and down, or you can actually bring the rest. Yes.
Okay, I seen it and I was like, well, I wonder if that is, almost like a Gabriel, like a bi-drop,
I'm not super familiar with that.
It just if it's down, yeah.
And I believe this thing is U.S. made. Don't quote me actually on that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
It didn't. It's on Pat Norris website. Lancaster too.
That's what it is. Is it on Lancaster? Did you see that?
I think I've seen it on Lancaster.
Oh goodness, I can't find this stinking thing. Hold on, give me just a second here.
Yeah, folks who just Google it. I'm pretty positive. Pat Norris website. Go to that, and then I think it's on Lancaster now. $110. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think so. Pretty cool looking rest. Yeah.
And it's simple, and it's almost hard to screw up. You can't really mess it up, and there's not a lot of options on it, so it's not like on AAE you can do it on second hand or blah blah blah. It's not that way, so
pretty straightforward, yeah. And Ben designed it, so he's no stranger to bare bow and needs of a bare bow rest, so that's good.
Yep. No, it's all. I like it, so. All right, so we went over your setup. We'll kind of go, and I don't have any good notes or anything like that on how you ended up I hear qualification stuff went out. So
yeah, I'll just
kind of
wing
run
it.
through all that if you would.
Yeah, I might forget stuff. So yeah, beginning of June we had our field nationals/trials event for the team, World Field Champs in Lac La Biche, Canada. Then September, and then also it's a World Games. That event, the World Field Championships, would be like a World Games qualifier. So the winner would have a spot. The host country, which it's in China, so they get a spot, and then be the top 10 countries, then get a spot for compound, recurve, and barebow, men's, women's. So it was a pretty big kind of deal, anyways. So we roll into field nationals. The format would be: first day would be 24 unmarked targets. Second day would be 24 marked targets. And then that would rank you for the field nationals. And then the top 8 would go on to the trials event, shoot 6 more targets for score, and then would re-peer group to the top 4, shoot 4 more targets for score, and then 1, 2, 3 is the team, 4th is the alternate. So yeah, so we had pretty good turnout. I don't remember how many. I think we had 20, 21, 22 in the class, maybe. Might have been the biggest class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. It was in a good location.
Where was it at?
Yeah, Kotiwi, which is in Noblesville, Indiana. So it was actually local enough to me I could just drive back and forth. So that was
I
nice.
remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. It's not a challenge. The terrain isn't challenging there. It's going to be pretty flat. They did a pretty good job on the one course. They did utilize what terrain they had, and it was tricky. They managed some tricky footing and stuff like that. You start getting on hillsides and your feet are together and stuff like that, ups and downs. So they did the best they could with what they had. Rolled into, and then first they got equipment inspection and check, practice, and all that, and you go and you see everybody, and it's a good time. And I was working pretty hard on the trigger shooting and stuff like that, getting prepared for it. So roll down there and.
So real quick so what was you using for sear at that point? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was running it off I run a Yost brass weight on stabilizer bushing, and I just run it off the weight, and it was working good because it was almost like 3-4 weeks before. I was just still struggling with trying to find, a good, reliable,
and really didn't have too many tournaments to kind of prove it.
No,
other than really just one.
Yeah, that was the whole goal for indoor last year, was to just use all the indoor tournaments as like proving grounds for different technique, and just kind of roll through the indoor season to get ready for the field year. And I changed bows. I'm glad I tried the stuff, but in hindsight, I probably should just stuck with what I was using, probably off my Gilo GT and stuff like that, because I was running it pretty decent off that. I think that would have set me up for a little bit better success. So anyways, I kind of struggled up in spring. You sent me that bow to play with, that GMX, and had pretty good luck with it. Shot it well, and was able to make the sear work off of it better than anything else, and ran to trials with it. Pretty confident. Practice leading up to it was decent. I had a pretty good idea what I needed to do score wise for nationals for the team. So I was just kind of aiming for that. That was the first step. Was just to shoot good enough, try to get competitive, to try to get on a team. That was the first step of the year. So, went into that first IA for unmarked, and I shot pretty solid. I wasn't judging the 80 face targets for shit. Actually, I was just giving up points left and right on those. And I ended up with a 341 unmarked round, which I was happy with then. I knew it wasn't going to be, it's not where I wanted to be. I knew what I needed to be for international level, and that's not it. But it was good, and I was happy with it for the all things considered. And then we roll into, so that was first day, unmarked round. And then the second day, then you get peer grouped for marked round, which is more challenging, right? Yes, the distance, but all the target faces are farther. So you just kind of run into that, and it was pretty terrible that day. I don't know what it was. I maybe lost the focus placement. Maybe he was thinking too much of score, maybe stuff like that. I'm not sure. It's been a long time now, but I didn't shoot very good at all. I didn't even break 300 that day. I think I shot 296. Chris Garcia, he shot unmarked round pretty decent, and he shot marked round real decent. So he ended up taking the number one spot. And then Brian Way, he was just a few points off me unmarked. And then marked round, he had some troubles. He ended up shooting a couple wrong targets, which is misses. And then, so that cost him a bunch of points. And he ended up, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, so Chris I ended up at a 637, double round. And then Chris was 657, and then Brian was a 621. So that would have been, first, second, third for field nationals. And then we rolled into trials. We kind of took a break, did awards for that, rolled right in trials, went back out on the course. And you do six targets marked, 1 to 4, and then 5 to 8 peer groups. Rolled through that, shot pretty good, actually. Those 6 targets, I kind of caught my groove back a little bit, and I was making some points up on Garcia a little bit. 20 points is quite a bit. So, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to catch him, but I'm going to get as close as I can. So we ended up, that I don't think that changed. It did. So Chris, me, then Brian, we stayed. And I think Alex De Vera stayed. He was 4th, so he was in our peer group. Well, then after the top 8, he dropped to 5th, and then Andrew Cousins came to 4th. So then we went to the final 4 targets, which would have been the next day, but everybody decided just to do it right then. So we did it in front of everybody on the practice range. All the classes did, shot our final 4 targets, which would have been, I think we shot max distance for each one. And then that was it, but it stayed the same. So the team at the time was Chris, myself, then Brian Way, and then Brian opted out. So then Andrew jumped in and got the 3rd spot for Canada. So that was cool. Made another field team. I was really stoked about that. That was the first goal of the year, is to make another field team. Then it was, then the work started.
Yeah, you hit it pretty hard there for a while. I mean, we talked quite a bit. And of course, I don't remember what I was really doing. I think I was...
I think you were still doing some ASA stuff.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't even remember. I didn't do anything in June, I don't think. I went on vacation there somewhere.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were done with 3D by then, weren't you?
I was pretty much never started it.
You did a few, didn't you, too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I don't remember which ones I did, to be honest, but I didn't do many.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I think the next step would have been Buckeye, right? You were coming over to Buckeye.
Yeah. So I practiced pretty hard for that, and I felt like I had a better tune for all that stuff. And I finally conned you into going and, just at least to get some good practice in, some pressure practice on your stuff.
Yeah.
Which it worked out, because at least it was great. Proving grounds. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad I did it, because that was a good spot to see all the weak links versus not, and going to Canada with issues.
Yeah. So pretty much that went through, and I actually wrote a couple things down there just so I could see how that went.
Yeah. I think you shot pretty well.
I shot pretty fair, to be honest with you. I really not that I was expecting to be better than that, but I'd shot really good, consistent scores, previous to that. And when I got there, you know how that is. Sometimes it just happens. Yep. So I qualified at a 6:39, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And then so Jordan, what's his
Graham.
Jordan Graham shot a 6:27. He shot well. And then Nick Way, I think he made his debut there. I think that was his first 50-meter shoot, I believe.
Yeah, might have been.
Yep. And he shot well. He shot a 6:24. I know he wouldn't. Him or Jordan, probably neither one of them was really happy with that. But they shot well. So after that, God, we shot the elimination things, and man, honestly, I was pounding. In the beginning of that elimination thing, feeling really good. And then, who did I lose to? Do you remember?
Alex.
Yeah, no, I knew that. But, I got to Alex to shoot for whatever. I don't even still
It was semifinal.
Keep up with that, correct?
Yeah, so it was you and Alex were semifinal.
And Alex came out smoking, dude. He shot a 30 right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does it do here? He's a good shot. I mean, he can shoot really well.
Remember the match before it? I don't remember who it was against. He was shooting against somebody, and he was struggling. He was down 5.
Oh, I remember
1
that.
Or something
way
like
down.
that.
And then came all the way back, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was just, you could see it, and he was just like, and I said, hey, man, I can't remember what I told him.
Oh, so you're the one who screwed me.
I might have been. I said, man, get aggressive or something like that. It's like, dude, just get aggressive. Because he runs
I remember that. I remember hearing you say that.
Yeah, he runs a triggered shot, and I'm like, dude, you just got to get aggressive with it. And, man, he flipped that match around. I can't remember who that was against. Was that event against Ziggy?
Man, I don't know. It was a good. It was super fun to watch.
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? And he just started pounding, came all the way back and beat him.
And then
rolled to you. Yeah, and then rolled to you. Just stayed on.
Dude,
I was like, uh-oh.
I thought I had a notes here on how those went, but I don't. But he came out hot with a 30, and I think I came out with like a 25 maybe or something. I don't know.
He ended up getting you 6-4.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good. It was a pretty good match, Yeah. I mean,
it was a good
shot
fight.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good fight. And then, so you losing that dropped you the bronze match, and then
Alex
against Nick.
Alex and okay.
And then Alex and Jordan went on to the gold match, which was going to be later on the TV or whatever.
So
and then
bronze, I shot against Nick, right?
Yep.
And honestly, I don't remember. It's just been so long now. I just don't remember how that went exactly. I don't know if it's close or if it was not.
You got him 6-2.
Okay. Yeah. But I don't think we was too far off in score. I think we were pretty similar.
It probably wasn't like, somebody was shooting 30s and somebody was shooting 24s. It wasn't like that.
No, I feel like it was pretty close. Yeah, just kind of edged one out there. Which I think Nick, I remember him talking about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I kind of hate to mention this. I remember him saying like he was tired or something, because we shot a lot of arrows. I forget how many.
We kept going over that other range. Remember that?
Yeah, which was terrible.
Forever.
Stupid. Bad choices. Not that that's an excuse by any means.
Yeah, I'm so shoot. I've got I shoot so much. I with the endurance, I can shoot all day.
So, and then, and actually, so it was a 14-hour drive for me or something like that. So I didn't want to stick around for the next 5 hours.
Oh,
I was trying to get home. Yeah. I was trying to get home, and honestly, I didn't actually realize that I podiumed at that point. So me and Guy just loaded up and took off. And normally, even if I don't podium, I always try to stick around. I always stick around, even all those ASAs. But man, it was a long drive. So we took off, and Alex ended up texting me something about, hey, something about your medal or whatever. Anyway, I don't know if I ever got it. Actually, I can't remember. Oh, I think I won some money. I think I did. I'm not sure if I got it or not, to be honest. Don't remember, but we'll just say I did. And then I didn't write. Oh, I did write scores down for the gold medal match so people can see those. And that was like Alex and Jordan, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. Jordan won, right? I think he won again because he won a year before.
He did win.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. He shot pretty well. And then in this gold match here, Alex shot a 24 to Jordan's 25. And the next in was a 20 to a 24, 19 to a 19. And then here's where Alex kind of lost it. He shot a 17 versus Jordan's 27. I did have that written down so people can know those.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was fun. I mean, I like 50 meters a blast. I just suck at it. You know, I don't know what else to say. It's hard.
I'm with you on that. I was practicing. Man, I was shooting really good, actually, up to that point. Really big scores. Really big 50 meter scores.
Where did you end up qualifying at? Or don't say if you don't want to.
No, it wasn't that good.
It wasn't that bad. I remember because
8th. I got 8th.
Yeah, because you were working.
8th. I shot a 6.11. I think I had I know one miss.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. I don't think I had 2. I think I had 1.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I had 1.
You shot pretty well, though, honestly. Other than the miss, you know, that would have put you in the run, you know, so.
Yeah.
You shot pretty well.
I was having big issues with that sear. You know, I was running off the grip edge and
you plastic. Were holding sometimes for.
Yeah, just working
what
that
I felt
thing
like was
through.
A minute because you shot opposite of me. So I was able to watch you. And
my shot cycle has gotten pretty long. Yeah.
I got to say this first, too, because whenever I was shooting in the eliminations, you know, you were calling arrows for me, so I didn't have to throw up my binos and stuff. And you were like holding up numbers like this. And like, I don't know, I just had a stroke, I feel like, or something.
I'm like, it's a 7. Or like, it's an 8, it's a 9. Like,
yeah. And I was like, what? And then
I
remember you. Yeah, and then you had to like mouth the words to me or mouth the numbers to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then a couple of times I was like, "I don't know what that was. Was it a 5?" You know, I couldn't remember, so I just like went brain dead for a minute. But
I got to remember that if I ever try to hand signal you into some like mule deer or something, like he doesn't even have a clue what I'm talking about.
No idea. You need to
work this out better. Yeah, I'm like, it's a 9, dude. It's a 9.
Next time,
it's a low 9.
Yeah, next time what you should do is if it's a 7 or better, just go. Or 7 or less, just go like this.
I'm just going to bring a megaphone and be like, a 9.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what? Do it yourself.
Yeah. And that was, you know, honestly, that was the best tune I've ever actually had on an arrow, just in general. And I ended up with a 570 off that XD.
Parallel pros, right?
Yes. Yep. 570 parallel pros. And they weren't cut very short, I don't think, but I had 100, 120, or maybe it was 100. I think it was more like 100. I got 100 up front. It's a pretty fast setup, though, for what it was, because I was on the fingers 40-ish, you know, right at it, something like that. I had those 34-pound limbs pretty much wound in.
Yeah.
And then my draw on top of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a really good setup, and that's pretty much a pretty darn well kept. My indoor setup is about the same now, which we'll go over that later. But it was, you know, it was fun. So after that, you using it for practice for, you know, just mental practice, really.
Yeah, I had to figure out the sear under pressure and on a line.
A lot. I remember that.
I got home and I kept working on it and then scrapped it. And then it's like, nope, going back to running off the weight. Well, I'm just going to go back to off the weight. It was weird after trials. After trials came home and like almost going to run it off the weight. I don't know, but it wasn't that. It was the mental. It was not running it right, you know. So and I got to quote or give the credit to Alex De Vera on this. I don't know if he came up with it, but this is who I heard it from first. You know, the stages of like going to like a triggered shot. The first stage would be like learning how to do it. And that took me forever. I feel like I'm still learning. The second phase is learning how to do it under pressure.
Yeah.
And that's two very different things. So, the practice scores are, were big or giant leading up to that. And then you go and shoot, a 6.11, which is whatever. I was happy with it. It was fine, but it's just a big point difference from practice to tournament score. And I got home and I worked on it for maybe a few weeks, tried some other grips, tried some different, how I approached it. And I just was like, I just went back to running off the weight and still am. And that's working very well for me.
And very so we'll kind of ease off into the other, hey, real quick, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank God. All right. So we'll work off into, if you're done with that, with the Buckeye stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll kind of ease off into, since I introduced it this time, it's basically my podcast now for this time.
Yeah, you can have it. You can have it.
You did better though. We'll take a vote later, see who did better, and
yeah, let us know who does the better intro.
Yes. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
It's okay if you say we both suck.
For sure. At least my mustache is trimmed now. All right, so we're getting ready for Canada.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So first things first, you're scared to death of flying, and you ended up flying.
No, I'm not scared. I've never done it. I've just never done it. I drive everywhere. Yeah, I drive everywhere.
So let me see what I got wrote down here real quick. So you started running the SEER off of the weight again, going into Canada, right?
Yeah. So how was a Buckeye? Buckeye was July. Canada was second week of September. So yeah, I got home and briefly worked on it, scrapped the idea, went back to running the SEER off the weight. Cause and people need to realize this, and maybe this help people. And we've talked about this before, and Demer talks about this, and you got to work on your weaknesses. Whatever's costing you the most points right now is what folks need to be working on. So, it's pretty easy to get wound up buying equipment and buying new arrows and stuff like that. And I've been wanting to switch to ACE arrows for the last year, but I know that there's no points in those for me because the biggest point drop is in my shot, right at the trigger, and everybody will be a little bit different on that. So everyone needs to realize that. So I knew that I needed to get that under control. I needed to get that as bulletproof as I could because that's where the points are going to be.
Yeah.
So that's what my goal was. So I came home and I have access. Dan Hare is local to me for anybody that knows him. He's got a bunch of property and we've built a really nice field range over there and some platforms for me to shoot up onto and down off of. And, but I just was going there all the time, and they tore down some buildings kind of near me and ground up all the concrete and masonry, and it's in giant piles. So I started going over there with my targets, and I would put one at the bottom and one at the top, and I'd shoot up and down those to get my cuts. And I could get some footing, where your feet are together on knee and, that stuff to, because I did my research about what Lac La Biche, the range up there was going to be like. And I knew it was pretty flat, but I knew they were going to have platforms. So I just wanted to go as prepared as I could because I know the Europeans they have, amazing courses over there. And this is what these guys do. So if I hang with those guys, I've got to, you got to prepare. So I just hit that hard and tried to, refine my game. And I have learned a lot from my run in 22. I knew I had it in me. I just had to get control of the shot, make strong shots, and dust up. So I stopped paying attention so much on score. And, once I had the tune reliably hit in the middle for what I had, right, for the VAPs. and just started judging. I knew I was capable of doing it, so I judged shots. Good shot or not. Good shot, mediocre shot, or bad shot, and I'd score those. And I did that. That was my focus, and it paid off big time. So yeah, I did that all the way up to, and then the one thing I did notice, like 4 weeks before, was I've always shot with both eyes open, and I was having trouble. So I have floaters, right? And I wear contacts, and I have floaters. And for some reason, and I'm actually going to blame Yaka for this.
I would, for sure.
Yeah, totally. So I never noticed my floaters for shooting until he said he noticed his. And then it was like, oh man, I noticed mine too. And it's not that bad. But then my eye would dry out, my contacts would dry out. So it was a mess. So like 3-4 weeks out, I'm shooting in low light situations because I cover the target face with my arrow. I don't lollipop, I cover it. Like I couldn't see the arrow at all. And I'm like, this is a giant problem right now. And so I try to shut my eye. And it was like, whoa.
Who told you to shut the eye?
Some guy that sells Kubota equipment. Yeah. Yep. But it worked awesome.
Of course it did.
The problem with shutting an eye is you end up having a very hard aim because it's so crisp. It's right there.
So do you look at the target in focus or the tip in focus? I know a lot of people ask these questions, and I do it totally different than I think anybody else. And it's the wrong way, but it's how I have to do it because my vision actually is not very good. But so how do you do it? Okay, if you don't know, then you're probably just shooting off the sight picture, right?
Yeah, it's almost like both.
Yeah,
you're almost like looking between a distance, so they're both in focus but slightly out because it's two circles.
Right.
I'm not doing, I'm not lollipopping. My arrow is centered in the round face, whatever that is. So the issue the one thing you have with field, for example, is like at 15 meters, you're going to shoot a bunny and then you're also going to shoot a 40 face. So if you lollipop for your 40 face and then you lollipop for your bunny at the same crawl, you're going to blow out of the top of the bunny. So, you have to, I've always covered, I just like doing that anyways, but some people are like, well, it's different sight. It's like, it's not a different sight picture because you see round rings and then I have a mostly round arrow and it's just, I center it up and any face is the same for me. So that's what I do, but I don't focus on the arrow or the face. It's like between them. So they're slightly both in focus, but both out a little bit. Yeah.
I can see. I see what you're saying on that.
Yeah,
I guess I never really
just kind of hold
that.
It right there, and it just kind of dances right in there. And I think it works for me because I never could do it before the triggered shooting because it was such a hard aim that it'd make me super jumpy because it'd be right there. Your mind wants to send it. Well, now running that triggered shot, I'm cool. I just let it sit there and just watch it dance. It's not even a big deal. But I don't notice floaters. I don't have that big of an issue anymore with my eye blurring out, like dry. This is a long shot cycle, and like low light, bright sunny. None of it. It's all pretty good for me now. So that was huge, but that was like 3 weeks prior. So it was like, well, crap. I got to get a bunch of arrows downrange like this, and my crawls changed and everything. So, which was interesting when your crawls changed, but that tells me that the arrow tip was enough that I couldn't see it enough that I wasn't actually centering it. And that was giving me issues for like, if I'd shoot like a 25 meter 40 face versus a 25 meter 60 face, I'd hit completely different on those. it's the same crawl, and you shouldn't, and it was because, two eyes open, I couldn't see it right. So I don't know where my arrow was. It was just, I'm glad I went to it. I'm still doing it. It's awesome. It's working great for me.
So, and real quick too, just to say how I do it, just so you know, or whatever, maybe it works for somebody, is I look at the tip. The tip's in focus, the target is not. So basically, I just line the tip up. So, like, say, here's the gold ring, right? I get the tip, a lollipop it. I just set it at the bottom, adjust my curl to where it hits, in the center. And that's how I do it, because I can see the arrow tip. I tried to it was like internationals a couple of years ago where I tried to wear a contact. I just went to the eye doctor and got contacts specifically to try to shoot. And it just messed with my eyes really bad because I got a bad stigmatism, I guess. But so anyway, I mean, that's maybe try it if you're struggling with that or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe don't.
Yeah. I think there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
you're and I was warned. A little bit.
Man,
okay,
it's
there you
okay.
Go.
Might just be
don't move real fast.
Yeah, and I was warned kind of when I go to it. I bounce a lot of stuff off of you, and then Demmer as well. And Demmer is like, ooh, easy with that. It's gonna be pretty hard to aim. And it is a hard aim, but I think I make it work because of the trigger. So it gives me pretty, and it really works on. It just works out on really everything. Because it's easy to center a circle on a circle.
Yep.
It's just super easy to do it.
I tried that.
And I'm used to it. Like if a guy was just like pull it off at first, it'd be like, man, I feel like I can't see what I'm hitting at, and I'm wanting to look. I'm wanting to, my bow arm's dropping. I'm wanting to peek. I could see that probably initially if somebody wanted to potentially play with it or try it, maybe give it a fair shake for a bit. I just, naturally cover it, and it's good. It just lines up like you center two circles so good.
Yeah. And it's just preference. I mean, not that one way's better than the other, because
no, everybody does it. Yeah, there's big scores shot of different ways.
Both
for
ways,
sure.
Because Demmer shoots like two eyes
he's
super open. And I tried that because him and Frank did a podcast a long time ago that I listened to. That was or no, maybe it wasn't him. I don't know. It was like in an eye doctor or something. But they were talking about like blinking your eyes right beforehand, like in a.
You get them real clear.
Something, yeah, and then you it lets more light in. Dude, I tried that for months, just playing with it, and I just couldn't get comfortable because I'd lose the arrow. Like I would totally lose it, and I'm like, oh god, And then I would just like.
It's just another step you're adding, and you're just like, man, I'm just kind of losing. Yeah. And I know, Demmer, like one eye for Demmer, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work at all for him because he warned me. He's like, I don't know, and. So, but everybody's just got to try and figure out what works. So that was a big thing. Yeah, 3 weeks out, I just went to that. But it was good. I just had to I needed a bunch of, I was shooting so much anyways. And I was like, oh, now I got to shoot more because I got to get arrow count up to,
But you immediately got better.
Immediately.
I mean, immediately got better. So, if you're struggling, you want to try something new, maybe just try it. Or don't. I don't care.
Yep. And if you find it's a hard aim, and you're jumpy, then it's probably not for you.
I still get jumpy. I mean, I don't know if that's if that's because
well, I can tell you, I guarantee you, before the triggered shot, that would have made me super jumpy. Yeah. I was always trying to make my aim the softest I could back in the day, just to try to get away from that those yippy target panicky days. And now that I'm kind of past that with this process, this triggered shot, I can introduce a really hard aim and then just forget it. And then it actually calms me down because before, if I can't see the arrow and it's washed out or it's dark or whatever, you have to think about bringing that into you're almost double checking where it's at. But, well, is it still on there? Well, the second you take your focus off, your movement for your trigger, you have to start over. Well, you're already, 5 seconds in the shot. So it just compounded, and the shot's breaking down, and I'm sitting there at 10-second hold, and nothing good's going to come from that. So as soon as I close the eye, I didn't have to double check the aim anymore. I set it and I just watched, and it was so crystal clear and just right there that it was just like, oh, it's good. It's good. My mind was watching it, and I just running my thing, and like immediately I got better. It was like, whoa, holy crap. So I ran with that, and then I kept shooting. I introduced scoring back into it there towards the end. I was always scoring shot.
The shot.
Yeah, always doing that. But then I introduced score back in because I wanted the pressure, trying to elevate the scores as much as I could, with not only worrying about score, is introducing I'm scoring two things. And I was getting scores up pretty good for practice. By then I wasn't shooting the flat practice anymore. I was going to the back to our field range, which is a little bit sloped for uphills and downhills each way, and shooting a mix of targets, fair, and comparing notes every day. And then trying some, I think at that point I wasn't doing too much with the bow. It was just me and just shooting, because I know the potential was there for the most potential it could have. And that got me going to Canada. That was pretty much it. And then I was ready to rock.
Yeah, I know we took a little U-turn there backwards. So
yeah, whatever.
Basically, we suck at this. So we haven't done it in 7 months. So we get to Canada. Kind of walk me through, because I still really don't understand the field thing, to be totally honest.
Okay,
it's because I probably won't shoot it, more than likely, because there's nothing here that I can do it with. You know what I mean? Like around me. I don't even think they've ever had one here, or maybe years ago, but not now. So kind of walk us through how all that went, and you don't have to get super detailed or anything, but kind of at least give everybody a deal how it went, because you shot really well. Like, I was watching it and I don't understand the scoring totally, but I was like, like I was having a hard time watching it. I was like, oh God.
I felt like I pounded for me. For me.
Sure.
That's
good. That's a good feeling.
It's
paying off,
Yeah. Yep. The goal was to, make the team. And then the goal was to go to Canada, because the World Game spot's on the line. And I just wanted a fighting chance. I wanted to be competitive. I didn't go into it like, oh, I'm going to go up there, I have a shot at winning this thing. That never even entered my mind, because I know what it takes. I know what it would take to do that. I've never won, so I can't say that, but I know what it would take, what you have to do to win them. And, when I'm trying to be, I'm my, worst critic sort of thing, right? Like I'm hardest on myself, and I knew that I probably didn't have what it took to win, especially when you got to eliminate pressure, because I was still working on the pressure shooting. So, which when you have that mindset, you don't have expectations. I don't have expectations of, I just want to be competitive.
Sure.
And I knew I could be. I was confident I could be competitive.
Just wanted to shoot to what you can shoot.
Yeah, I just wanted to be, I just wanted to go, just have a fighting chance, just be competitive. And so I went, and, you go and, we fly up there, which was pretty cool. I've never flown before. So that was pretty interesting. Actually, the only thing I was nervous about was I packed my bow in my suitcase like many people do. I just had the one bow. I didn't have a backup, so I was a little nervous. I had a backup, rest and plunger and all that stuff, but I didn't have second set of limbs, or second riser. So I was a little worried about something getting lost. But luckily, you could, when they scan your luggage on the plane, you can check on your phone. Like, I was on that the whole time. Like, oh, okay, it's on the plane, we're good. That was my biggest thing, was making sure the bow showed up. Because that would have been a situation if it didn't. Because I'm so different tuning than a lot of other people, and I know nobody there was going to run 800 spine VAPs, so it wasn't like I was going to be able to borrow arrows and make something work. Anyways, you fly up there, and you're there, and you get to see it, and it's pretty cool, because I get to see some of these guys that I only get to see for this, right? So
Could you well, never mind. I forgot you and your wife went, huh?
Yeah.
For some reason, I kept thinking you was rooming with somebody, but that was the last time. World Games.
Yeah, we ended up staying. I mean, it's so much money, because this is all self-funded. We stayed at the block hotel thing with everybody, which was super good. But we ended up just renting a car, and you're northern Alberta, and just drive around with someone using that. Didn't have to ride a bus, and you can still do your own thing. But go there. Then you have, I think there's like a practice day, and there's like an unofficial practice day, which I think I came in that evening of, and then the next day was official practice and inspection. So you go, and then you get everything checked out. Everybody's legal and everything's good. You get your credentials, you get your all your stuff, you get all checked out, and then same thing. You shoot your first round is unmarked. So 24 unmarked targets, and you're just all grouped up, and you go out and you tablet, and and this is it right here. And I remember going out, and I was nervous, but I was handling it well. But
this is in practice.
No, this is now scoring. This is unmarked.
Now you're scoring. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And for the first target, and they ended up putting it out on the social media, and I think Hoyt did a thing on it. I
remember seeing that.
Yeah, they did the best, hiding, they curve it, fold the corners of the faces in and stuff like that. They did the best, the train wasn't crazy. They did their best trying to hide some stuff, but it wasn't too bad. And we just kind of roll into it. I remember going up first, or I was second. We were second group, second two shooters. So the first guys went up. It was me, Fisher, that's Simon Barbieri.
Yep.
And then Marcus
shot Lancaster.
Yep. And then Marcus Axelson, who's a newer guy on the scene internationally. I'm not sure. I'm sure he's shot for a while. Out of Sweden. Super cool guy. First time to meet him. Hell of a good shooter. Well, they're all, Fisher's a good shooter. They're all good shooters, right? Everybody's a good shooter.
He's fun to hang out with too.
Fisher?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's cool, man.
Yeah, we had a ball, man. Yeah, we had a ball. And then Marcus, he was good. Simon, he's pretty serious. Might have been a little bit of a language barrier there for him. So there's a lot of that.
He's Italian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, he shoots like 50.
Like a lot of weight. I remember that Lancaster. Dude, that bow was like a shotgun.
Yeah, but when you watch him shoot, you would never guess he's got that. Dude, he handles it so good. And he's not like this big jack guy. He's just like, I'm like, I can't believe. And he's just pounds with it. It's crazy. And I remember going up to the peg and shooting, on a pretty nervous first arrow, and I shot a good shot, whatever it was. And everything went good. And then it was like, just like a big load. It's like, okay, we're good. And then I just, boom, started rolling into it. And, it was pretty good shooting with Fisher and those. Yeah, I didn't know Marcus, but I knew Fisher was good. And I knew that Simon.
I think it's Simone. I believe so.
I know he's a good shooter as well. So, my mindset in that group was, I'm just going to hang. I'm just going to just shoot with the group. I'm just going to shoot and just hang with the group. That was like, whatever. I just want to match, score, and I'd be okay. And, and I was, I'd get up above, ahead of them a little bit and fall back, because everybody knows their scores, right? And we were all pretty close. And we just run through that round, and it was fun, and everything was working. I was shooting controlled shots very good.
This is marked.
This is unmarked.
Oh, this is unmarked. Yeah.
So you have to judge. Yep, you're judging them. They're all closer.
What's the shortest?
5 meters.
And then the
5
longest?
5 to 45.
5 to 45. Okay.
Yep, and then you have your four target faces. With an overlap on. So you have your, the bunnies you can tell what they are, and the 40s are all quads. Well, your 60s and your 80s, you might walk up and be like, "Ooh, is that a 60 or is that an 80?" And you got to be able to, judge that through.
Yeah. And how many targets are there?
Be 24, 3 arrows each.
Okay.
1 to 6 scoring. So you just kind of roll, and you get to the end of that, and pretty good that our last target, because we started on target number 1, so our last target was a pretty cool uphill max distance, 80. But it was up on a big platform. Pretty cool target. I shot it real well too. It was a good finish, and it was strong. And I knew I shot that one good, and I was like, man, this is a good score. I didn't know what anybody else shot, but I knew it was a good score, and I shot a.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I don't think I had that wrote down. 354.
354. So 360 would be even. Right.
Oh, so that's 360 shooting pretty dang good.
Yeah. But check that. Like Giuseppe shot like a 379.
Come on.
Dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then Dave Jackson was like 60, mid 60s. Eric was mid 60s. It was like there's like a 58 in there, 60, and there's like wow, yeah. And I shot, because I was like, man, I shot a good score. And you see that, you're like, so I was seated 6th, beyond happy. Like I walk off, and I made a pretty big rookie mistake. Maybe 2/3 of the way through, that cost me some points.
Misjudging or something like that?
Yeah, without getting too far in the weeds on it. So you're judging. People have different methods to judge. My method, off my bracketing, I'll grab for the range of targets, I grab a certain crawl to do my thing, and I judged it, and I was, I judged it for 35 meters. Okay. And I don't know why when I re-grabbed my crawl, I thought my 30 was my 40. So I went down to 25, thinking it was 35. And I shot.
Screwed it up.
Yeah, and luckily my bow's, I shoot super lightweight arrows, so luckily it was fast enough. But it was barely a 2. I don't think it was a 1. It might have been, but I think it was a 2, but barely, like liner, like straight low, boom. And it was like, whoa, what was that? I didn't misface that. And so I was like, okay, so it's better to judge them too close than too far, right? Because if you drop low, like you really drop out. But if you shoot them a little hot, like you'd be surprised of like not too much hot. So I ended up cheating it to like, it's like 38, 39 meters for my second arrow. Grab the right crawl, right? And I shot a high 3, and then it clicked. And I'm like, oh, because then I was running back in my head. I was like, oh, you idiot. So then I just grabbed 35. Yeah, dude, big time. I mean, total rookie mistake. I grabbed my 35 pinwheel 6. And I'm like, I'm not saying I would have shot all 6s on that, because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have, but I definitely gave up points on that one. And I was like, oh, man. But it didn't shake me up, because that last arrow was like money. It didn't shake me up. And then, whatever. So I got off course, super happy with that. And then was just, there's no open practice there. It's not like you can just, I'm going to go over here and work something. No, that's it. You're done. So you go back to, you go in for the evening, and the next day was marked round. So
hold on. So you finished up, we're at it in the pack.
Okay.
6th. So do you have it wrote down who was 1 to 6? If not, that's okay.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Giuseppe,
yep.
David, Jackson, Eric, and then
did Leo go to that?
Leo was there.
Okay.
Yep.
I should have written some of this stuff down, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who the other Italian? Who's the other one? Eric Esposito. He was 4th or 5th, and then I was behind him, or something like that.
It was a pretty tight tight race though there, because I remember watching it, and
yeah,
we were
a point. So at the end of it, so I shot marked round, which is rear peer group. So now you're all shooting in, and it was, I mean, you could just, every arrow counts, right? Because you're watching it. You're watching everybody shoot, and you're like, okay, I got up on him. Oop, he just got on me. Oh, man. And you're watching for the whole round. So it was a pressure cooker for all of us. And there's definitely a language barrier on that round. There wasn't a lot of chatter back and forth. Because I was with Eric Esposito, and then I think Simon again. And then somebody else. I don't remember.
And this is on marked
round. Yeah, so the distance is further. You know the distance, but the distances are further. It's a harder round, so scores will drop. Like if you shoot a higher score marked than unmarked, your judging is not up to par. That's the fact, right? Because it's an easier round. Like the targets are easier, much easier. So I end up getting done with that. I shot 337 marked. International tournament, beyond happy with that. A lot of room. Like I didn't feel that I didn't come off there was like, oh man, that was 100% I had, which I don't ever like feeling that way. I like to come off there like,
what can I work on?
I got more.
What can I get better on?
I definitely got more. Yeah, because that's so I come off and I was like, but I kept sixth. So I stayed sixth place, so it sat me good because they're going to do the top 16. Well, this time now they changed it, so they do a 16 cut, and before they did like a 22 cut or 24 cut or something, and 1 and 2 qualifiers jump to semifinals. They get, and then everybody else gets into 4 pool groups, and then they shoot up. That's how it used to be.
Was there any Americans in the top 16 other than you?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Nope. The cut,
I can't remember.
Yeah, the cut was 666. So, just for anybody listening, that's what it'll take basically at an international level tournament to make top 16. It's no joke. And Simon Fairweather, which was awesome to meet him in person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he was tab guy, huh?
Yep. And he's a 2000 Olympic gold medalist. Back in the day, and I shoot fairweather tabs. I have since 2020, since pretty much they came out. I think for the barebow version, anyways. He supports me. He's awesome people. Him and his wife is there on the women's team for Australia.
Oh, that's cool.
His wife Nikki. Yep. So, and she was in Yankton in 22. I met her then. Super, super cool people. Good shooters, and I was able to trade a jersey with them, so I got a Simon Fairweather Australia jersey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, super, super happy over that. So he was the cut at 16, 666 to make the cut. I finished at a 691. 1 point was the difference between me and 10th place.
God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then I remember watching that.
Yeah, me in like 3rd place was 5 points. It was just
tight.
Dude, it was tight. Like, it was good shooting.
That's what you want, though. When you bring the best out of the world, that's what you want. Those are the tournaments you want.
And then David Jackson was a little bit elevated beyond that. And then Giuseppe was like 719, dude. He was on fire.
Yeah.
On fire. He was shooting a Maibo Mikan, the Hoytlams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's always shot Gilo for a while. He's shooting Mikan, loving it. Talked to him a little bit. I was like, he's like, it's good. I've never shot one.
I've shot one before.
Have you? Yeah, he's liking the hell out of that thing. And then David, he's shooting Fivix. He was, he shot Gilo for a long time and Uka stuff. Back in the day, and he's shooting Fivix stuff. And then Eric's, he's shooting the new GF Fisher.
It's a sweet looking bow.
It is a sweet looking bow. Yeah, it's a good looking bow for sure.
I've seen Ogilvy's. It was a sweet looking bow.
Yep, and it's I've shot Ogilvy's, and it reminds me a lot of a GT. I didn't get enough time with it because it's got some more deflex, and so how it's gonna probably aim and point a little bit better. But the limited time I didn't get a really super play with it. Fisher shooting a GT. with the GLMs, both those guys. I think Fisher said he prefers the GT over the GF. He just likes the way it feels.
GF probably.
He tried it, and he stuck. He stuck to his GT. I asked him about it.
Sometimes it's nice to just stick with the same setup too.
Yeah, you get to that level. I mean, you're going to shoot anything. Well, you just got to feel like what you like the best. What shoots good for you. It's all good.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that XD. It just I don't know why.
Yeah, and then I shot the GMX, and then I want to say Marcus had an Exceed. And then Jay from Canada, he was in there, top 16, a new guy on the scene. He's a sleeper. He hammered. He was shooting I swear he had an Exceed too. Anyways, it was a good mix of, there was no manufacturer dominating. It's just it's all good.
Most of it's right here anyway.
It's all good. Yeah, just pick what you like and what you shoot the best and go with it, whether or not it's the best or not, doesn't matter. So anyways, that finished me 6th place qualifying, so it sets me good for the eliminations. And then, but being the top U.S. guy, I get to have the men's team spot and then the Barebow mixed team spot with Fawn, the men's team with Brady Ellison and Eli Hughes, who people maybe know Laura Hughes, Barebow shooter Laura Hughes. We shoot ASA and stuff with her a few years ago. It's her brother, Eli. He was their top compound shooter. So hell of a cool young man. And then, Brady Ellison. That was pretty cool to be on a team. We were qualified first for the men's team.
And another thing too, I don't want to leave Fawn out at all. I just don't keep up with. I'm terrible at keeping up with scores.
She hammered first day. I don't remember, 1 or 2, I think. And then second day, Cinzia just turned it on and shot like 340, something like that, marked around. And they're shooting it, they're shooting the same course as we are. It's the same. It's identical to what the men's are doing. So yeah, Fawn, she hammered, which was no surprise there. So that sat her good. Maggie hammered.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, Maggie did very well. So we made a good showing on the Barebow side, and Fawn had the top spot for the women's team. So her, Paige, and Alex, she's Olympic. I don't remember her last name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah. And then me and Fawn for mixed team. So that was pretty cool. So then, that ranks you, whatever. Next day you go to eliminations. I'm up against Michael Myers from Germany again. So it would have been the rematch
guy, right?
Yep. That would be the rematch from the World Games. Him and I again. And that was highly stressful, I would say, for both of us. We both shot the lowest scores of everybody for the elimination for that block of targets. We ended up tying, and we had to do a shoot off on a 40-meter 60 face. He shot a 3 and I shot a 5 for the win. So then that got me to the quarterfinals, and I'm against Eric Johnson.
Piece of cake.
But at that point, the night we finished March round, after qualification, mind you, World Games is host country gets a spot, the winner gets a spot, and then it's the top 10 countries, not the top 10 people, top 10 countries. USA is the 5th country, so now USA has a spot guaranteed. So it doesn't even matter eliminations at this point.
You now know you're going to China.
Well, now this year and years past, what they would have done is if US got a spot, it's a US spot, and then at next year's field nationals, the winner would be the World Games.
One to go, yeah.
They changed it this time, so everybody got an email back in January or whatever it came out. Whoever earns this spot this year, it's their spot. So I see both sides of the argument, but I did pay a lot of money to go up here to this tournament to earn the spot. So I was pretty happy. So at that point, after qualification, I'm looking, and my wife, we're in the hotel, and I'm looking at her. I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what happens in eliminations. I got my spot. I got a spot back. So I'm going to the World Games for the second time. China.
Yeah. Anyways, that's sweet.
Yeah. So at that point, I went and did what I wanted to do. So goal 1 was to make a field team. Goal 2 was to try to get another spot at the World Games. Complete. So I was like, I didn't care. Like, I was happy. Like, there was no pressure to do anything more. There was no. Yeah. Now it's just like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just gonna see what I can do. So
real quick.
Yep.
Do you like Chinese food?
Yeah, I like General Tso chicken a lot.
So, I wonder if they have Chinese buffets over there.
No, dude. This place.
I wish. It'd be super sweet to go. I've never been to China. It looks. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll see. It'd be fun. Yeah, we'll see.
Not if they don't have Chinese buffets, though.
Yeah. So we end up. So I'm against Eric. Now. So I'm like, oh, here it is. Whatever. I'm happy. I made it this far. And I think he gets up on me first target, and then I get up on him. So it's 6 targets, and then I'm up on him a point or 2, and then like the 5th target, I lose focus, and he gets up on me, and then last target, I lose focus some more, and he beats me. So he beats me 86-83, and I'm knocked out.
That was close, though, man. It's a close match. Yeah. That's one of the best shooters in the world.
Yeah, and if I'm going to lose to a guy like Eric, I'm honored to lose to a guy like Eric. It's fine. And it wasn't like, you're knocked out. It's like, it's a bummer you're knocked out, but you're like, man, it's awesome. I hammered within my capabilities. Like, I'm beyond for my lack of experience and my struggles the last 2 years. Like, it's insane to do that. And the tournament, I was shooting good enough at that entire tournament that, I spoke earlier about weaknesses. A big weakness became very apparent to that tournament that was like my tune arrow selection, and just the shortcomings of that, and how unforgiving it was, and it was costing me points for sure. So I knew I was coming home, and I said, no, that's it. I'm going to ACEs. It's the best arrow made for this game, outdoor probably, period. I'm going to that, and I'm going to focus on maintaining me, and then I'm going to make that my next strength on. So I don't have, I don't want a weak point to be an arrow setup or a tune or anything like that. So,
no, there's no guesswork,
Yeah. We go to the men's team the next day, and I sucked. I remember the practice that morning. I was hitting left bad. And I was double checking the sun, and, I was like, man, this is the way the glare is. And I was just left. So I took some center shot out, got it down the line for practice, and I'm shooting, and I got back shooting really good practice, warming up. And then we got, put together, we're going to shoot. We're number 1 ranked. We're going against Canada, top 8 teams. Right. And it's going to be all the hard targets. Right. So our first target's a downhill 15-meter bunny, and it's our hardest target. Well, we're getting ready for all that, and I'm like, man, my bow's never run this center shot over here, and I just don't trust it. So I don't remember how many turns out or how far out I did, but I put half of it back in. And I'm like, okay. And so, those guys shot first. Eli and Brady went up to they shot it for 20 meters. They went 20-meter peg. They shot it, and it's timed, right? So, that's the most pressure I felt, when you're on a team like that, it's not just me. Now it's like these guys as well. So I just felt like a bunch of pressure. And then I've got this triggered shot. This is the most pressure I've ever shot with that, and it definitely shows. I go up to it and I shoot a right 3, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, well, let's go to another target. So we went to, I think the next target was like a 40-meter 60 face. And I shot another right 3, maybe 2. And I'm like, oh no. So I put all that center shot back in. And then I shoot, I think it was a 20 or 25 meter 40 face. Maybe that one was a max. Maybe I shot a 4 on it. And then we went back to like a 45 meter 80 face, and I shot to the right on that one too. And I was like, we lost.
Was Brady just like pounding it?
I don't want to, I don't like to. None of us were shooting excellent.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. None of us were shooting excellent. Yeah, none of us were shooting excellent, but I definitely felt like I was. Well, I was the weak link for sure. I was bummed, man. I come off there, I was like, man, I felt like I lost it for him, and I was pissed. I was pissed, and I kind of, we lost, whatever, we're out. So I go up, and then it was practice. You could practice for a while because then the mixed team was going to be later on, in a few hours, and so I go up and I, go see my wife, and and I was like, this sucks, damn it. And I was like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna go, whatever. And I go and I see Brady, and Brady, he's just an awesome dude, right? He's been there, he knows what's up, he's whatever, and he's like, hey man, just give yourself 5 minutes, and who cares? You're in another match, there's still another medal, go for it, so it was pretty cool to hear that from Brady. I know he was. I mean, we're all.
He was really pissed at you.
No, probably. He probably was. He probably was, but he's probably. I hope he's. He was a good sport about it. I remember I could see it in their faces. I was shooting. I was like, oh, I'm shitting the bed on this.
Well, good news is
way to let these guys down.
Good news is he's definitely not going to listen to this, so nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but no, he was cool, man. And then it was all good, whatever. Sorry, guys. And then I go hit the range, and I just really try to get focused back. The mixed team, and Spawn and I, we go up against Fisher and Nikki Fairweather for Australia team. And man, I'm pounding. I'm back. I'm shooting good. Fawn shooting good, and we're pounding. We end up beating them. I don't remember the score. Knock them out, and then we go against David Jackson and Alicia Beaumont, I think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I didn't really follow that into it.
Yeah, and same thing. Matter of fact, I think they were sick. I think they ended up getting real sick. So they were, I think, off a little bit, but we were shooting good. Fawn and I both were pounding. I was my shit back together. I had no pressure at that point. I was pretty well over it, and got through that match, and then which sets us up to the gold medal match. So now we're in the gold medal match. So I have a medal. Fawn has a medal, no matter what. Fawn ended up getting into 3 medal matches because she's a stud. And then we go to the next day would be, or the 2 days later, whatever it was, you just the match. And so the bad thing with shooting a triggered shot in the wind is, you're sitting in the wind and the wind's blowing you around, and you're just running your process. When it breaks, it's going. If you're not on target, it's not going to go on target. Or if you're not in the middle, it's not going to go in the middle. And I definitely felt that. Actually, it was super funny. I was blowing out the top of 40 faces at 20 meters. All week long, and our first target was 40 face at 20 meters, slightly down, but it wasn't enough to do any cuts or anything. And I blew out all week the top. I'd hit like high 5s and 4s, and so I cheated my crawl. I walked up to it. It was like a low 2. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? So, anyways, we didn't shoot that very well. And then the wind pushing me, and they ended up beating us pretty good. But got a silver medal out of it.
Yeah, that's sweet, dude.
So pretty cool. But that was Canada. Yeah, that was Canada. So
pretty good trip. So now we that was pretty much the end of
that was the end. Yeah, I come home, and
It was just in September. Yeah.
Yeah. I come home. I took like 2 weeks off. I got real busy with work and then ordered some ACEs and I got to playing with those before the weather got too shitty here to try to get a start on next year.
Yeah, and we'll get into the our indoor setup and all that stuff on the next one, really. And were you in? No, I was gonna say, were you in Canada when I was in Colorado with Mike and Colby? Or that was the next week you were in Canada, huh? Because I was there the first week.
Yeah, we didn't talk for like a few weeks before because you were getting ready to go, and then when you were gone and then I was in Canada when you come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't we were both pretty busy with that, and then
there was one point to where I called you. I don't remember, and I
was in the airport
with Mike.
It was at the end.
No, you was out to dinner or something because I talked to Fisher for a while.
Yeah, that's right. We were at some. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The place is in the middle of nowhere up there. There's not a lot to do, but it's a cool place because it's just so far north. It feels like you're just in the middle of nowhere, pretty easy, and it's a cool feeling.
Cool place to be.
Yeah, I like being out in the middle, just away from people. And the host club did a great job, and we went to the community center, big nice place for dinners, and everybody went there, and they had some cultural experiences and things. They had a rodeo for us, and it was a good time. They did.
Well, aren't you from Canada?
No,
I thought you were from Canada. Dude,
no,
I don't know where I get this from because I thought Raymond was from Hong Kong. And I told Raymond that one day. He was like, "What?
Like what?
I'm from Canada." I was like,
"Yeah,
you don't look like a Canadian."
My dad and my dad's side are Canadian.
Okay.
So yeah, so I used to live.
You're
actually
half Canadian.
I used to live outside Vancouver, British Columbia. Yeah. Long time ago.
Canadian bacon good up there like it is down here?
No, I did have gravy every day when I was in Canada because I like gravy.
What about syrup?
That's what you do. No.
It's not a thing up there? I thought it was a big thing up there.
Well, yeah, but
Or syrup. How do they say it?
Syrup. Suri.
That's what they say? Suri?
Suri. Sorry. Anyways.
Oh.
Hey. Yeah, so it was a good time. And yeah. So that was the outdoor year. All
right, guys, that's it.
Tournaments. That was the outdoor year. Not a lot going on, but big thing for me. You know.
Yeah. No, that was cool, man. I'm excited to do the indoor stuff now. I'm kind of getting back into the groove of things, getting stuff sorted, And
yeah, I'm
I'll probably suck again, but it's still fun.
Yeah, there's a tournament. Both of us this coming weekend.
Yep. I got a tournament. I don't remember the format. I'll be shooting like NFA face and what do they call that? In a Vegas face.
Yeah, it's going to be. Well, ours is the Hoosier 690. I don't know what yours is called.
I don't know. It's the Ozark Open.
Yeah, Blueface Saturday will be NFA, 300 round, but X's or sixes, right? So it's 360 round, and then Sunday will be Vegas face, right? Feet of face, Lancaster scoring.
Is 300 round. Is Jared coming up there with it? He's in Indiana, isn't he?
He is. Actually, it's going to be really close to him because he lives down there by Indy. I don't know. I didn't see him signed up. I thought he was going to. Last I heard, but
who else going? Do you know any?
Yeah, Graham will be there. Okay, Paul Helms will be there. Trevor Fielder will be there. Alan Nisley will be there. He might be in senior class. Matt Ewing will be there.
Oh yeah, he's a stud.
Yep. Ziggy will come back. Ziggy won last year.
Who is that? I don't know if I know.
I'm gonna screw up his name. We call him Ziggy. I'm gonna screw his name up. Yeah, you know him.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I know exactly who that is. Yeah, I just call him Ziggy. I can't. I'm gonna screw his name up. I don't even want to.
Is he from Indiana?
No, I think he travels over here. For some reason, I think he's from Illinois somewhere.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if Mike knows about that. Davenport. I'll have to text him.
I don't know.
It's already closed, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just got the email yesterday. Yeah.
Well,
because I texted Jared today because I got the email yesterday, and then I got about being closed and some line assignments and stuff. And then I scrolled down through it, and I didn't see him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I thought you were signing up." And he said he was going to. I was like, "That's close." So maybe he can still jump in there. I don't know how much shooting he's been doing, but
we got a pretty big shoot here. It's called the Frozen Okie. There's going to be some guys shooting it.
Is that the one where all the waves are coming and spanking everybody?
No, this one's in Oklahoma City, so a couple hours away. But that's just our thing here. But I was going to go to it, and then I found out that Ozark Open was going to be there, or going to be going on. And man, honestly, it was a fun shoot last year. If you're closer around, it's a good shoot. I don't think you can get in right now, but look into it next year. We should have done this a long time ago. That way we could have told people about stuff. But no, I think Zach. I'm going to screw up his last name, like Brissinger. I know Spanky.
Bissinger?
Something like that, yeah. Spanky, Nathan Shaw, which Nathan's shooting really well. Man, if he...
I think he always does, right?
Yeah, he does. He's a stud, man. He's a sleeper. He's gonna do well. Me and him qualified last year. He beat me in qualification, I think. I don't know what place we was in, but he beat me by an X count. We shot pretty good. I had one bad day, one good day, but I think we shot like a 555 or something, 556. It was pretty good. Nowhere near the top guy. Raymond, he shot a stupid score. I don't remember what it was, but I know one of them was like a 290 or something like that. It was a smoking score.
Yeah, he hammered, that's for sure. Yeah,
he shot really well. He's shooting really well too. I seen on he posts stuff on Instagram, and that's all I've got
here. It's all coming out now. Everybody's doing their live shoots and their scoring rounds and their stuff.
I'm waiting for him and Denver to get on one.
Yeah, I don't
give us a show. You froze.
I don't know if that'll happen.
You're frozen.
You're frozen. You're frozen. You're frozen. Freezing.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah. Now you're going.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway,
did one. Yeah, they're all doing them right now.
Yeah, which him and Zach, Raymond and Zach done one. It was super close. I think he won by like a point or two. Raymond did.
Okay.
So I don't know.
It's gonna be a good
Pretty
time.
Cool. I'm not good enough to be on that, so I'm gonna hang out and just flop again.
Yeah, old has been.
Yeah, one hit wonder. That's what I am.
One hit wonder never was.
Yeah, that's a second. Yeah, and honestly, I think like looking back a little bit, not to go too far back, but looking back a little bit on like my first year at Lancaster, it was a lot of the, like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't really know the scale of that tournament, which was nice because I was just able to just show up and just.
Do you think that plays into it? I think it does.
No, I don't think it does, because the reason I'd say that is because I actually shot a better score this year, qualifying score, than I did last year. But I was having like the first year I went, like in qualifications, nothing was like feeling comfortable. You know what I mean? Like I just barely like made it through there. I don't know what my score was, but it was not great.
What about on the elimination day?
Yeah,
do you think that plays into? Does that help? Just kind of being like, well, nobody even knows who I am. Like I'm just gonna shoot. Do you think that?
No, honestly, I don't think it does, because maybe it does. I don't know. I will say this: I went over to the practice range and like got the feeling back. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, and I was pounding on the practice range for a minute. Went over there to eliminations and started shooting well. Started pounding.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it may have had something to do with it for sure, because I had zero expectations. But man, honestly, last year I didn't really feel like I did, like expectation wise. But if there's ever a time where a fellow's going to have some pressure, it's coming off winning one of those tournaments and then showing up to it the next year, right? That's why John is an outlier on most of it, because he performs every year. Just super consistent.
Well, yeah, I think that's what makes him that's why he's Superman, right?
Which he weaseled his way to the stage.
Yeah, but when he got there, he shot up to.
Yeah, he did, and that's when it matters. So it's like, yeah, maybe I had a rough go, but
rough go by Denver standards, right? But maybe, I don't even know if he'd call it that. I mean, he just might be happy to be there, but, and then to go up, it's like, no, because you can catch, right? You can catch, to not get too much far down the indoor rabbit hole here, but a guy can catch up. And I don't mean it this way, right? But you could, on eliminations, depending on how they work out, a guy could get through not having to shoot an insane, a 115, right?
Sure.
And then a guy might shoot a 115 and get knocked out by a guy who shoots a 117. It's like, holy smokes.
Well, a good example of that is, what is the guy that beat me out? I don't know why his name is slipping me right now. Golly, he's a good shot. Golly, I don't remember. But you know what's funny is
Butler.
Yep, I don't remember his first name. Jim? I don't know. Larry Butler.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So what was funny is we shot, and like the second in, I was like, golly, this guy's gonna smoke me. I was like, he's freaking pounding it.
Yeah.
And I think we shot don't quote me. I don't remember what the score was. It was a good score. I think I shot a 112 maybe or something. And he was beat me by a couple points. But it was kind of funny because when we was walking back, he was like, man, I'm not going to lie. That's the best I've ever shot. I was like, well, shoot, go win it, Go win.
Yeah, that's just how it is. And that's...
Which I was a little bummed, but you know what? It is what it is.
Of course.
It's always going to happen. Like I missed the whole freaking target in Vegas.
Everybody needs to realize that could happen, so don't get too worried if it does. It's like we're going into it this way.
Yeah. But, so, that'll be on the next one.
We'll go in. We'll go down the indoor rabbit hole. Maybe next week we'll get past this tournament here. Sorry.
We're switching to compound anyway, so we pretty much put all those turbos up now.
Yeah, Olympic recurve. I'm going to shoot a clicker. I'm not even going to put a sight and the bars on. I'm just going to shoot a clicker.
I'm going to shoot it left-handed, I think.
All right, so that's the end of this episode. If you guys want to hear anything specific, let's talk about anything specific.
All four of you.
Yeah, or if there's a person or anybody that you guys want to, if there's a subject, you want to hear from a certain person about, reach out to him or I and say, hey, this whoever, we'd like to hear about this from him, or why don't you guys speak to this, or I wish you guys would do a better job on your organizational skills. Your intros can
definitely
do
want
a
to
better
know about
intro.
the intro thing though.
Yeah, so just give feedback. You're not going to hurt my feelings, and I don't think you're going to hurt Matt's.
No.
So,
but if you need a tractor or something, you know where to find me.
Yep, you can do that.
All right, I'm out. I'm going to stay on until you pause me or whatever.